So,
Mhm.
so can you speak about like why no pain no gain is a myth and what are alternative paradigms?
Mhm.
I love what you offer.
Well, I mean, in terms of no pain, no gain, as kind of this ethic of hard work, that you want to prove to yourself that you can push yourself hard, that you can put like effort is being rewarded, right? We do see it as a positive thing, and and to a certain level it is, right? Effort, putting effort into something shows that you want to do well at it, you care about it, you care enough to
Hmm.
actually put effort and thought and physical effort into, if it's movement that we're talking about, mental effort, or if we're talking about cognitive learning. Um, but too much effort in anything, it becomes a detriment, right? It becomes a compulsion and almost an addiction, because you think that, okay, well, I tried as hard as I could, so the fact that I failed then wasn't because I didn't try, right? So that becomes like
Yeah.
the foundational principle of whether you're doing things properly or not. It's like, well, at least I tried, and it's like, yeah, and that is good. Don't throw that away completely. But we
Mhm.
also know that if you go into if we're talking about just learning in terms of mental learning, um, you go into an exam and you're just like, you try too hard because you're just so motivated, you just really want to do well,
Yeah.
and it's almost like you're overstimulated, right? You're going to fail because you tried too hard, right?
Yeah.
There's somewhere, and if
Yeah.
you don't care enough, and there's not enough effort because you're not engaged, you don't care about what you're doing, that's going to be under stimulus, right? It's too little, effort being put in.
Right.
So the key term, of course, when we're talking about all of this, is optimal, and how to
Mm.
find optimal. What's the sweet spot that we're trying to?
How can the listeners learn about that? How do you discern
Mhm.
between I just got to push through a little more, or this is telling me to stop here? And I learned it the hard way, but I wonder, could someone prevent from learning the hard way? How do we?
I think so, for sure. I think there's a lot of great guidelines, from physios and from yeah, for me, not being a physio, but just experience over the years of
Mm.
I've had a lot of injuries. But the interesting thing about injuries is that with running, a lot of the injuries that people get with running are not lifetime injuries. People are like, oh,
Mm.
running's it's bad for your knees and all this kind of, like we were talking about before. But the you get hit from the side in soccer or in football, and your knee is you tear your ACL or your
Yeah.
meniscus in a really terrible way, and you're like, that's it, and I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
not
Yeah.
playing football anymore. You're damaged, right? you know, we are learning more and more about even those types of injuries, that how to repair them and how to strengthen them and scaffold them through
Mm.
injury prevention exercises and daily habits there as well. But um, with running, a lot of it is just simple. You did a little bit too much too quickly, and things
Yeah.
are in a weakened state. They're not in a damaged state. The pain is coming from your body saying, like, yeah, this is not right. Things are not feeling good here, but you haven't necessarily
Mm.
ruptured or torn or done any real damage. And so I think knowing the difference and trying to figure out over time, what is an ache and what is an injury. And
Mm.
ache is like, okay, I should be listening. I don't want this ache to turn into an injury or to turn into something that is what
Right.
will stop me from running. But for me, what the differentiation is a couple things I've already mentioned, which is it pain, like real pain? And a lot of physios will say, you don't want to be running with anything that is above 3 out of 10 on the pain scale. So if you have
Mm.
10 is like just unbearable, searing pain, and 0 is like 100%. Like, where is this optimal level of pain tolerance that you should be going through? And I think the idea with 3 out of 10 is that's the point where you can still relax and you can still
Mm.
move, whether it's running or any other activity, without compensating, without limping, without favoring. Because if you're favoring one side more than the other, you're going to be creating neurological pathways that are very inefficient. And I'm
Yeah.
very into this idea of neurological pathways. That's where the term quality pathways comes from.
Your
But
coaching program.
get
Yeah.
again later. Um, but I think that if you have these little quality controls in your mind about how you want to move, so for me, there's I can break it down into so many different little
Mm.
minute levels in terms of how I want to feel when I'm running. Postural position, where my foot is striking relative to my center of mass. I want my foot coming down underneath my center of mass, not too far in front,
Mhm.
and braking on every stride. I want to relax my upper body. I want to be in a relaxed mental state.
Mm.
So all these little, things that I think of as, quality controls, ways that I want to move. And if the pain that I'm feeling is above 3 out of 10 on that pain scale, I probably can't maintain those levels of quality, that level of quality of movement. And so why
Right.
then I'm just going to be
So you
practicing.
compromise the movement itself.
And then
Yes.
I'm reinforcing low quality pathways, low quality
Yeah.
pathways of movement between the mind and the body. You're just teaching yourself bad patterns.
Habits.
And you think you're being, people think they're being tough, right? They're like, this is, I just, no pain, no gain. Oh, I'll push through.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, but that's poor learning, right? You're just not doing
Mm.
it well any longer because you are making these compromises for this, this dysfunction that is developed, right?
Yes. And this would apply to all forms of activity. This I
Absolutely.
really like this. So if someone, if they haven't run before, if you're doing walking or swimming or whatever it is, like I really love that little guideline. Like, is it a three? Is it more than a three? Just tune like the idea that you really encourage us to do is tune in. Don't just push through.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tune in. And I think for me, what happened with that injury, I got so excited, and because my times were starting to drop, I was running faster. I was like, "Let's keep going." And somehow, even though we've said it so many times, like, don't compromise your form, relax. But I got caught up
Get caught
and
up. Yeah.
I ignored my own body. Hello there, and thank you so much for stopping by this channel. I hope you find this content useful, and if you do, feel free to hit that subscribe button. It will really help me to reach to more people and keep this content going. Here we are journeying together, and let's see where this takes us.